So these things need to go into the plan from the beginning, and it's part of the strategy because, like I said before, people are booking places for the experience. They're not just booking it because they need a place to stay. They want it to be better than their own home. They want to be wowed by their vacation. They want to have activities and amenities that are all part of that strategy.
Welcome to LUXETalk, where we talk purpose, positivity, and all things luxury. I'm your host, Lisa Berg, and today's guest is Nisha Franklin. And Nisha is the co-founder of FromWhere, an LA-based platform that transforms beautifully designed short-term rentals and boutique hotels into shoppable experiences. Leveraging her background in global brand marketing, she empowers hosts and designers to monetize their aesthetics while allowing guests to easily purchase the decor they fall in love with. Welcome, Nisha.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Lisa, for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you on our podcast this morning and to find out all about what it is that you do from where. So let's start with the spark of your idea. How do you feel that it teaches entrepreneurs about spotting a real market need versus just a good idea when building a business from a personal, where is that from moment?
That's a really good question. And I feel like, so my husband is kind of like a serial entrepreneur, and we joke with him that anytime someone's like, oh, I have an idea, we're like, don't say it. He's going to buy the domain. You're going to have a business tomorrow. So I am much more calculated in that way. So, we had thrown some ideas around, but really it wasn't until FromWhere came up that, I thought, this is actually something that is missing in the market. And we did a lot of polling our audience, if you will, and leveraging some of the existing networks around short-term rentals, and just trying to figure out if there was, a need in the market for it. And we did that at the same time as getting things ready to go. And we had the mindset of we can also test it. So, once we had got the initial sort of validation, like, yes, this is a good idea. We also talked to pretty much every host that we could find who would talk to us. And then we launched, and we initially, had interest for boutique hotels and the Airbnbs to sign up their properties. We started with just the short-term rental space. And then we also quickly realized that there were interior designers or stagers who were saying, hey, like, we make beautiful spaces and people walk into those spaces and are interested in, what we're using there. So we expanded into offering storefronts also for interior designers. So really it was a little bit of like research, but then also like, let's do it and see. So yeah, I think an important thing is just doing that research so that, like, hey, is this just a cool idea or is it something that's really going to work?
Right, exactly. That's awesome. So can you tell me, how have short-term rental hosts and boutique hotel owners quietly shifted from simple property managers into some of the most influential curators in the design and hospitality space?
So interesting, the whole industry has changed. So maybe, I don't know, 5 or 7 years ago, people were just booking places to stay. They were generic. It was fine. Now it's really like professionalized in a lot of ways, right? So property managers and hosts know that they have to go above and beyond. Design isn't just kind of like a nice to have. It's necessary.
Yeah.
Intentional spaces, beautifully designed spaces, even experiences. The whole industry has shifted. And with that now, because we see that all of these spaces are beautifully designed and they have just been thoughtfully curated, the space itself, the host or the property manager, whoever it is that's managing it, now they're kind of the ones that are like, okay, we want this to look a certain way. And now guests are asking, where did you get that from? Or, how did you achieve this space? And so they're becoming this sort of recommender or curator of all of these products that they're finding in the market.
Excellent. That's wonderful. So why do you feel that it's, intentional functional design should be treated as core business decision and revenue strategy rather than just like an afterthought about aesthetics.
100%. So some people might think, let's just start a short-term rental, and
Hmm.
here we have a bed, here we have a couch, here we have a table, but they're not, thinking about the design as part of the strategy. They're just at the end saying, oh, let me just throw something up on the wall, or let me just
Yeah.
put this space on and it's very disjointed, and it's very clear when that happens.
Hmm.
For short-term rentals, there are designers that work in the space, as you know, I'm sure,
Hmm.
specifically for that, like high turnover, people are coming in and out. How are they using the space? They're probably using it different than a primary home, right? Maybe there's more people spending time in the family room. There's more like family time, game time. There's
Hmm.
more meal times together. People want to be outside dining, on the patio. So these things need to go into the plan from the beginning. And it's part of the strategy because, like I said before, people are booking places for the experience. They're not just booking it because they need a place to stay. They want it to be better than their own home. They want to be
Hmm.
wowed by their vacation. They want to have activities and amenities that are all part of that strategy. So it
Right.
can't be an afterthought for sure.
Right, exactly. And I think that, design does directly move that needle as far as how it's going to get the bookings, how it's going to get the reviews, and, repeating clientele and that kind of thing too.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
So, can you tell the audience what does it actually take to turn a beautifully designed physical space into a passive income energy machine?
Yes. So to sign up for a storefront, it's very simple. What is really cool about FromWhere is we do the heavy lifting. So a lot of people that
Okay.
we've talked to, whether it's an interior designer or it's a boutique hotel, they're like, oh, people ask us all the time, but we just don't have the bandwidth. And it's not our primary business goal right now. We need to focus on our business, getting new clients or whatever it is. And that's where we come in because we can, even just from listing photos or from staging photos, we can pull what the items are. And
Mhm.
then we basically build a storefront preview and we share that with whoever it is, the interior designer, boutique
Mhm.
hotel, or the short term rental. And they'll review it and they can say, great, you got these 10 things right, but these 3 things are actually from, a different vendor or brand.
Mhm.
We can swap those things out. They really get to control what goes on the storefront. If there are things that they say, people ask us all the time, we'll put those on there. If they're like, we don't think people are going to care about our dishes or whatever it is, we don't have to include those. It's
Mhm.
really up to them. Of course, the more items that you have on there that people want, the more upside there is for people to purchase those and to earn a commission. But it's as simple as signing up. We kind of have like a quick discovery call, make sure they understand everything that needs to be sent. And then, like, within days, the storefront is live.
Awesome. That's fantastic. So, what do you think most hosts might be missing out on when it comes to the value of physical items that are sitting in and on their properties?
In terms of things to add to storefronts, or
Yeah.
definitely, I think something that stands out is the sleep experience, because
Okay.
I think that will make or break a vacation, right? Like, you go on a vacation and like the bed's squeaky or it's not comfortable, like that's just,
Hmm.
it's not going to be great, right? But
Yeah.
if you have a like amazing night's sleep and just everything seems better once you're well rested.
Absolutely.
And that's actually kind of the origin story of FromWhere, is that we slept on a bed in Hawaii and we woke up and we were like, I just slept so hard. Like, it was amazing. Like, probably was a combination of, like spending too much time on the beach and the like
Mhm.
sun fatigue and whatever, and just being on vacation. But the mattress was very comfortable. And the bedding, it all just kind of makes that experience. So, we see mattresses, bedding, even like towels, linens. Those are things that people, when they experience them and they've used
Mhm.
them firsthand, then they're like, oh, I really like the way this feels. So that's something that we see that does well. And that's also what's really cool about the platform, is that it's this experience, like you're getting to use things before you bring them into your own home. It's kind
Mhm.
of like a test situation.
That's great. That's great. And it kind of goes into, if guests are using it, in the first round of things, they realize what it is that they do like, and then they're more opted to go that route. So do you think that guests are looking for more deeply curated, story driven stays? I think that seems to be kind of the upcoming thing where they, besides just comfortable and all that, they want the experience, they want the wow factor and all that. Can you kind of talk about that a little bit?
Sure. And yes, that's exactly right. It's not just like I'm going to stay at this place for the weekend. It's I'm going to this place and there's going to be, and to take a step back, even like the whole travel and hospitality industry has shifted a lot, right? Like with
Yeah.
travel influencers, right? I mean, everything is there to be shown later, and for these like moments and experiences and photo ops, and people travel differently. So
Mhm.
you have to cater to that because that's what people want.
Exactly, because they want to feel like they're getting that luxury experience. And I think as things are always evolving and moving, again, vacation, luxury, it's just that route that people want to feel. They want to feel like that, again, that wow factor. This was an amazing experience, right?
Exactly. And I think I heard you saying on something else, like luxury isn't necessarily a price point. And that's so
Right.
true because here, that luxury experience doesn't have to be that you're staying at the nicest hotel or at the nicest place. It's maybe like the personalized touches, right? Like a note that's left for you or a welcome basket, or it's just those little things that elevate the experience that make it really feel luxurious.
hmm And so when you first came up with this idea, like you mentioned that your husband's an entrepreneur and anything that said, can you share with me like the excitement behind all of this, just getting started and, that path that you guys went down to really bring this to fruition?
Sure. For me, it was, to be completely honest, scary because I was like, okay, so we're really doing this. And I am more of like the let's make sure we have all of our ducks in a row and everything is set up and we know what's happening here and there and all of the different scenarios that can come out of this. So I sort of get in my own way because I want to know everything
Yeah.
before we do it. And I needed to be sort of pulled out of that to be able to do this, which
Mhm.
is, I mean, it's been a challenge, but I think it's been really cool too to sort of learn that you don't have to have everything figured out before you take that step, right?
Absolutely.
So I think it was, and what's interesting is like we balance each other really well too because we are very different in that way. So I think I had to be reminded many times. The like quote is like the only, and I'm going to mess it up, but it's like something about like the only risk that you'll regret is the one that you don't take.
Yes.
Um, so that was very true for us. And I think in the beginning it was a lot of just trying to figure things out. It was
Mhm.
tricky because, for example, like onboarding new partners. So we have lots of like wholesale trade and like affiliate partners that we can then earn a commission, or if we sell something wholesale, then we share that back with the host or the boutique hotel, and that's how they make the extra money, and then we also get a cut of that. In the beginning, because we didn't have, our brand wasn't out there and people didn't know who we were, they
Right.
were like, why do we want to partner with you? Right. But then
Mhm.
as we grew and, our storefronts grew and we started, onboarding more hosts and hotels, then the partnerships kind of came. So it was just tricky too, to figure out like what to do first.
Mhm.
As I think any business or new business is a challenge. And also there isn't really anything like this. So there wasn't like a blueprint or anything to follow.
Right.
We were just sort of like paving the way. And so
Right.
to explain, we were like, so we build digital storefronts for short-term rentals and interior designers and boutique hotels. And people are like, what does that even mean? So
Right.
it definitely has been a challenge, but lots of learning and
Mhm.
yeah.
Kind of learning as you go and then having a partner that supports you. I mean, you both sound like you have your strengths and stuff. And so to bring that together, to bring a new idea that people have no idea what that even means, right? But now looking back, it's like you've created something that people need.
Yeah, it's cool to say that or to have someone else say that.
So how do you think that we should think about the convergence of hospitality, interior design, and e-commerce? Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. So what FromWhere is really bringing all of those together. So,
Mhm.
we have people who are looking for new products or looking to furnish their homes, they're already shopping. But then we have people who are traveling and discovering products through that. And then we have FromWhere, who is like kind of bridging that, and this platform that is enabling people to discover new products. And, we like to say, and it ties in really well because, your podcast is LUXETalk, but, to bring a little bit of that luxury home. And again, it doesn't have to be because it's a expensive item. It's just that feeling.
Right. It's that experience, that feeling. So the name From Where, can you tell us where that came from? Where did you come up with the name and the idea behind that?
Sure. So we knew that we wanted something easy, something that easy to spell, easy to pronounce. I didn't want it to be like sometimes you see just, I don't know, names can get really complicated.
Yes.
I wanted it to be a simple like domain name, something like .com, preferably like 2 words. So that also was a big factor in it because, as you know, there's not that many like simple domains available. So I don't know, we did like a brainstorm. We came up with a short list, and then this wasn't on the original list, but I was like looking at something. I was on like Instagram, and a lot of times like for influencers, people will be like, oh, I love this. Where's it from? Or I love this. From where? Like just, I kept like seeing the words together. And then I was like, where's that from? Where's it from? I was like, from where?
From where? No, I love it. The name's so catchy and it's good. It is really good.
Thank you. I feel like it was just like it was meant to be because then we like quickly went and looked it up and it was available. We got the domain and it really simply explains too. Like you're like, oh, from where? I get it. Like that makes sense.
Right. No, it's so perfect. I just was curious, like where it came from and if it was an aha moment for you where you happened to just like see it or what your thoughts were on that.
Yeah, no, it was just very a lucky thing. So.
And especially when the domain name's open, that is a rarity. Like nowadays, especially you come up with something and then, it's already owned by someone else. So that's great that it was just meant to be, Nisha.
I guess so.
So can you tell me, where do you feel like combined space is heading over the next few years? And what major trends should property investors be preparing for?
I think more and more just really intentional spaces. So places that are meant to serve like one purpose. So is it a vacation rental? Then it should be designed that way. I think, we are seeing that people are investing in interior designers for that reason too, which is great because like I already touched on at one point, it was like a short-term rental is a short-term rental. Now, no, those are left behind. It's been professionalized. And if you're not providing, A+ customer service, those, personal touches, the beautiful spaces, the experiences, then you're not going to get the 5-star reviews. You're not going to get repeat bookings. So it's really important that you stand out because, as we saw a few years ago, everyone was buying vacation rentals. The demand was not outweighing the supply. And the ones that were just sort of generic don't get booked, I think we're moving towards those kind of luxe properties are the ones that are going to stay, and the maybe mediocre, they're just there, but they haven't really, the host or management hasn't really put their time and effort into it. Those ones aren't going to last.
Exactly. So like over the next 10 years, as hospitality, continues to evolve, how do you think that's going to change like the shopping experience? And do you guys have any future insights on how that's going to progress?
Well, I think things have already started changing, right? With AI even, right?
Right. Absolutely.
It used to be like everything was Google, right? And everyone was like, oh, we have to be at the top of the SEO search rankings. Now it's like AI is playing into that. So there's like GEO. Leaving that though aside, because that's all like the online. I think for us, we're going to see that people shop differently, right? Like they're already shopping differently. But I think this like market of like testing and discovering things is going to become more just normal, I guess. Like right now it's sort of novel and it's newer. We've seen some hotels have been doing it for a long time, but I think that it's kind of going to be expected like that you walk into a stage space or a boutique hotel and you can buy any of those items. I think it'll just be a more seamless experience. And that's sort of what we're trying to do, with the platform is make that something that just is part of everyday life.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's absolutely wonderful. So, can you tell the listeners if they were looking to build, resilient, purpose-driven legacy through, being creative in their own things, being of the entrepreneur mindset, what kind of tips would you give the listeners who are possibly thinking about stepping out in something, but, the scary, like you were talking about, one of your favorite quotes, and one of mine is, it is only after you take the leap of faith that the safety net appears. And I think that's so true. It's like that net's not just going to be there. You have to be willing to jump in and fail and do all the things. And I think it's rewarded when you take bold acts of faith, right?
Yes, absolutely. That is so true. I really like that. So along those lines, I think another thing is, and it's similar, but you can't be afraid to make mistakes because that's just going to be crippling and you're not going to be able to make any progress. And that sort of goes back to, how I had to be like pulled out of that because you're going to make mistakes, but you're
Right.
also really going to figure things out and you're going to learn from them. And I think just like my personality is such that like making mistakes was hard for me, but now I just see it as like part of the process.
Right.
And it's really important that you're also you can kind of get back up and keep going.
Yeah.
Because every day is different, right? And every day there's a new challenge. Every day there's a new small triumph and something to celebrate. So you really just have to kind of be able to roll with the punches.
I love that. That's so good. So good. So can you tell our audience where they can find you, Nisha, how they can use your services and all that? Would you be willing to share with them how to locate you?
Of course. So the best way to find us is our website, which is FromWhere.com. We're also on Instagram and LinkedIn. You can also find me. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm Nisha Franklin. And if you would like to register, so interior designers or hosts, property managers can register on FromWhere.com as well. There's a little sign up and it takes like maybe 30 seconds. You just need to put your link in, your listing link and name and basic info, and then we can get started.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Nisha, for joining us today and for sharing all this wonderful news about FromWhere. And in the audience, if you guys would like to find her, look her up and she's got a lot to share. So thank you again, Nisha, for joining us today.
Thank you so much. It was really a pleasure, Lisa.
Thanks for listening to LUXETalk, where faith leads, luxury inspires, and life is elevated. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe, rate, and review the podcast, and share it with someone navigating all things luxury. For more luxury insights, market education, and elevated conversations, follow LUXETalk, turn on notifications, and join us for what's coming next. Stay elevated, stay informed, and stay connected with LUXETalk.